1973 British Open Championship had controversy, big names, record prize money, and nostalgia.
Go right.
It wasn't just Arnold Palmer, greying, fallible, striving to recapture the fine, careless rapture of his 1962 Troon victory. There was someone else, the great Gene Sarazen, who played here in 1923 and now returned aged 71, honoured by the Royal and Ancient and, astonishingly, still competing.
Well, I'm just delighted to come back here after 50 years. I don't recognize many of my old colleagues. They're up there on the first tee waiting for me, Hagen, Jones, and Armour. They're saying, hurry up, Sarazen, hurry up. But you got a long wait.
Next day, millions of TV viewers saw Sarazen incredibly prove his point at the short eighth.
And there's Gene Sarazen, who failed to qualify here 50 years ago this week when he was US Open champion. There goes the postage stamp. Let's watch it. And what do you think about that one? 50 years after you failed.
What does it matter that Gene was not destined to qualify for the last two rounds? After all, he never really expected to. In the Open, nostalgia's just the icing on the cake. Winning is what it's really all about, and that means you're modern professional.
This is my farewell tournament, and I'm seeing the greatest championship of the 50 years that I've been playing. I've never seen a stronger field in the British Open or any Open than you have right here. These boys that are here this year are all millionaires. They're not here for the money, they're here for that title.
The prestige of the Open lured them all. Johnny Miller, aged 26, the United States Open champion. Bruce Crampton from Australia, top money winner this year. Tom Weiskopf from the States, world match play champion. Gay Brewer, former Masters champion. Roberto Di Vicenzo from the Argentine, winner in 1967. And Tommy Aaron, the reigning Masters champion. Lee Trevino, the defending champion, was in a voluble threesome with Chichi Rodriguez. On this first day, when Sarazen hole-in-one, some of the great champions almost played themselves out of the championship, and one of them was Trevino. The trouble was the northwest wind. It buffeted into the players all through the homeward nine. Trevino, usually a good wind player, said he couldn't risk hitting low because of the infamous humps and hollows of the Troon fairways. He shot 75, 3 over par, but 4 strokes better than Doug Sanders and a lot more. Gary Player had his problems too. Gary mixed brilliant shots with bad and finished with a 76. And what of Britain's most celebrated players? Not a good day for them either. Tony Jacklin, coming to the 18th. Jacklin pulls his second to the 18th just off the green, leaving an awkward little chip. Oh, is it too hard? Yes, runs 4 feet past. This for a 74. Well, so near and yet so far, so that's a 75 for Jacklin. Even unhappier was Peter Oosterhuis. This is the 8th, the postage stamp, where Sarazen hole-in-one. And that's pulled round to the left, and it's too far, and that's in a horrid place. Oh, well, there you saw. He tried to just flick it out of that heavy grass and has only moved it sideways about a foot. Still an immense problem. Oosterhuis took 5, and 80 for the round. Nostalgia had a fair day. Palmer at the 18th. There's Palmer trying to keep it low, but he's hooked it away to the left of the green and finds the heavy rough, an awkward chip across that little valley. But this man's a great chipper, one of the best ever. And that looks very good indeed. Fine shot, some 4.5 feet from the hole. They like it too. This for a 72. Oh, and it's in. And that's a good start for Palmer, keeping him well in touch with the leaders. The leaders, well, for nearly all day, these two were, Bert Yancey and Jack Nicklaus, playing their second shots here at the short 17th. A safe par 3 for Yancey and Jack in the bunker. Yancey and Nicklaus had 69s, 3 under par, and waited for someone to do better. Someone did, Tom Weiskopf. It's the notorious postage stamp again. Well, that's the first time Weiskopf has been offline all day. He's missed the green, and he's left with an awkward chip to save his par. Up the bank. A tricky one for Tom. Can he do it? Played it well. Thrown up towards the flag, and there's a beautifully played pitch, some 3 or 4 feet from the hole. Safely in, and what a great par 3. Weiskopf reaches the turn in 33 against the par of 36, and even more remarkably, reaches the 18th having picked up another stroke on par despite the very hard headwind. Tom Weiskopf leads then at the end of the first day with a brilliant 68, 4 under par. And with Johnny Miller in 4th place, the Americans hold all the leading places at the end of the first day. The second day, and only the hardy venture out. But today the wind blows right across the course, and for the golfers I suppose it's a little easier. All the same, there are plenty of victims. Bruce Crampton. In contention overnight, suffers a rather high 76. And, sadly, Palmer. For Arnold, a round of 76, just like Bruce Crampton, and that included a 7 at the dreaded postage stamp. But quite early in the day, one young man, Johnny Miller from the United States, has made ominous progress. He comes to the last hole needing this for an astonishing round of 67.
Come on!
So, no 67, but a 68 is good enough to put Miller in the clubhouse with a 2-round total of 138. And already people are wondering whether he can emulate the achievements of Trevino, who won the American and British Open Championships in the one year. Weiskopf, the overnight leader, plays from the rough at the 7th. Two birdies in the first 6 holes, and here he is with a chance of another one. Yes, a good 3, and it helps Weiskopf to reach the turn in 33 strokes. He gets another birdie at the 11th and comes to the 16th hole, 8 under par for the championships. The 16th, a par 5, this for a 4. So, 9 under par now, and that's still the position as he comes up the 18th. Great round of 67 for Weiskopf and a total of 135, 9 under par for the first 2 rounds. But out on the course, a tremendous challenge from these 3. Jack Nicklaus, Britain's Brian Barnes, who shot a disappointing 76 yesterday, and Bert Yancey. It's been a sensational start for Brian Barnes. How about that? In fact, he birdies the first 3 holes. And now the rains begin, rain which plays a major part in this year's championship. And there's the rather sorry view of the spectators making their way over the course here at Troon. Meanwhile, back at the 126-yard postage stamp, Jack Nicklaus, standing at 5 under par. Well, there you saw the greens hold nicely. Will it do the same for Yancey? Nice easy swing, throwing the ball right at the flag. Oh, it's a beautiful shot from Yancey. 2 magnificent shots. But Nicklaus misses and makes his par 3 at Yancey holes for a birdie. They really are having a tremendous personal battle, these two, absolutely level. But now it's the 12th hole, a par 4, Yancey chipping from the edge of the green. Leaves a little short, and Yancey will have to hole this for his par 4. So it's a bogey 5 for Yancey, and people, rather unfairly, I think, are already beginning to murmur that this man has still to prove himself to be mentally tough enough under pressure to win a major championship. And those same people are noticing how well Nicklaus is scrambling and getting his scores, although his game isn't quite at its best. 5 under for Nicklaus, 4 under for Yancey, and Brian Barnes keeps staying with the pair of them. The 15th. Now, at this same 15th hole, Nicklaus putts for his par 4. And Nicklaus goes back to 4 under. Moreover, Yancey moves to 5 under at the next hole. So now, at the 17th, a crucial 10-footer for a birdie. So Nicklaus and Yancey all square again, both 5 under, 4 shots behind the leader Weiskopf, as they approach the 36th hole. It's on the green, but a long, long way from the hole. Now can Yancey get one inside him? Well, he walks after it. Confident look on his face, it sails onto the green, and that's a fine pitch shot from Yancey. And these 3 will have completed this round in a collective 10 under par. Barnes round in 67, the same score as Tom Weiskopf. Now, with this long putt, Jack Nicklaus. Now it fades away to the right, leaving him a little bit of work to do. Still needs a 3-footer for his par. Now Yancey. Oh, what a beauty. Round the edge, but that's a fine 69 for Yancey, who ties Johnny Miller for second place on 138. And at least edges 1 stroke ahead of Nicklaus at this stage. So after 36 holes and a second round of 70, Jack Nicklaus is on 139 and 4 shots behind the leader. But even that margin won't make Tom Weiskopf feel easy. And Bert Yancey on 138, only 3 strokes behind. So, now it's the halfway stage. 69 players had failed to make the cut. Tommy Aaron had come in needing, we now realise, to hold this chip to qualify. Yes, by such things are fortunes in golf decided. Tommy Aaron, so recently on top of the world, the Masters champion, today failing to make the cut, and the headlines all for his partner. The dawning of the third day. It's destined to become the sort of day the man in the Times wrote on which whiskey must have been invented. The rain, like the calmer wind conditions, is to take a little of the venom out of the Troon links, but it brings its own difficulties. One by one, the players perform in a deluge. Bob Charles from New Zealand. And bearing in mind that he isn't really in contention, just look how many spectators are here. 17,000 people at Troon on this rainy day. Gary Player. Brian Barnes and Lanny Watkins. And Barnes, equal 7th overnight, still having his moments. An eagle 3, and he comes to the last hole, 4 under par, but his ball's in a bunker by the green. Now, can he get down in 2 for a 69? So he leaves himself quite a bit to do. It must be about 10 feet. No, he can't do it. All the same, it's a 70 for Barnes, and that will almost certainly give him a higher placing after 3 rounds than the 7th place he held after the first 2. Finishing immediately behind him, Neil Coles. And Coles has this also for a 70. Yes! Oh, a wonderful putt, and a total of 2-1-3, just the same as Brian Barnes. And now, coming along behind, experience and youth, Christy O'Connor and Bernard Gallagher. 5th and 6th overnight, struggling a bit today, but at times still playing some great golf. Gallagher at the 12th. That ball stopped absolutely dead in its tracks. That's the effect of the rain.
Get in there.
2 absolutely superb shots by Gallagher. Meanwhile, the overnight leader, Weiskopf, with Johnny Miller, who's tying for 2nd place. They wait their turn. In front of them, Yancey, the other overnight 2nd place, and Nicholas, who's lying 4th. Yancey now to the 2nd green. He's already dropped a shot at the 1st. Ah, but that's a fine shot. Nicholas now, still 5 under par. And what can you say about a shot like that? Almost certainly a birdie. But first, it's Yancey. Yes, it's in, and he gets back the shot he dropped at the previous hole. Nicholas also for a birdie 3. Oh, just in. And it's a birdie for Nicholas. And that's how they stand. On the first tee, Johnny Miller. And now Tom Weiskopf, the leader of this championship. But a few moments later in the rain, Weiskopf finds himself in all sorts of trouble. Miller's already safely on the green and set up for a certain par 4, while Weiskopf's over the green in thick rough. Well, trying to be too delicate, and that's a shot, certainly thrown away. So that's a 5 for Weiskopf, and he drops a shot. And the pair in front get a little encouragement. Yancey at the 3rd, Nicklaus already close to the flag. But not as close as that, another beautiful shot. Jack, rumoured incidentally to be suffering from back trouble. Yancey, so far today, 1 bogey, 1 birdie. And the conditions, terrible. Ah, well, that means a par 4. He might well have expected a birdie 3. Yancey's birdie, almost a formality. Nicklaus 6 under, but clearly disappointed. Coming down the same hole, Johnny Miller. That puts quite a lot of pressure on Weiskopf. He's played 2 already. And it's still his play. Weiskopf beginning to look rather anxious now. And he really is looking vulnerable. 2 shots lost in 3 holes. Miller. A birdie 3, and it just could be his day. We shall see. And so, 2 shots change hands, and suddenly Weiskopf and Miller are all square. Nicklaus now at the postage stamp, the 8th. Still 5 under. He seemed to hit a good one. My word, and he did. Yancey, 7 under, challenging for the lead. And getting inside Nicklaus. And that's how soaked these greens are. Nicklaus openly aware that his game at the moment is not at its best. And I must say, he seems to be struggling for everything he achieves. Putting here for a possible birdie. About 11 feet. Oh, it's a good one, but no, it won't drop. Yancey. Clearly a chance here to pick up another stroke. So now this man looks really dangerous, and he gets yet another birdie. The 11th railway hole again for Nicklaus and Yancey, the par 5 that proved so disastrous for Jack in 1962. Here they are, both playing 3 from just off the green. Yancey's 9 under. Oh, that's well short, stopped very quickly. In fact, Yancey goes on to a par 5. So a chance here for Nicklaus. Little chip if he can get it close enough for a birdie from just below the bank. Oh, we tried to get it close and it didn't go. Ooh, and those teeth marks will bear testimony to his feelings for a few hours to come. Well, pretty well faced with the same shot at just a different angle. Can he get his par 5? Oh, played it well. If that had only been the first time round. Taps it in for his par 5. Incidentally, Christy O'Connor's on the 18th, or I should say the 54th green. He finishes in 74 and a 3-round total of 215. Behind him, Nicklaus and Yancey have run into all sorts of trouble. Yancey 7 under at the short 17th. And his troubles continue. Club held up in the grass, didn't quite make the green. And here's Nicklaus, now only 1 under, trying to squirt one up onto the putting surface, and my word, he's played a good one. Hits the edge of the hole. What a wonderful shot. Yancey playing his 3rd shot at this par 3 17th. And my word, that's not dead yet. Well, that's a brave putt, but another stroke dropped to par. Well holed for Nicklaus, but Yancey drops to 6 under par. Immediately behind on the tee, Tom Weiskopf, 10 under par.
Bunker?
But that's in a bunker. Johnny Miller, also 10 under par. There could be a chance for him here. And there is indeed, because Weiskopf's ball is lying right up the face of the bunker. He's got a very difficult shot. Got to get the ball steeply in the air and carry it to the flag. Looks a good one under the circumstances. My word, it was too. Stopped very quickly, a little unluckily, backed away from the hole. Now Miller, this for a birdie, 2 at the 17th. Oh, my word, so near and yet so far, but it's a par 3, and the pressure very firmly on Weiskopf's shoulders. Disturbed by the great iron bird, gathers his concentration again. Oh, well, it just had the necessary 6-inch drop. A wonderful putt from Weiskopf, and I doubt very much whether he would have holed that a year or two ago. He's matured so much, this man, over the last couple of years. He really is now one of the world's greats, and they're absolutely dead level as they go to the 54th hole, where Yancey's just missed his putt for a par, and Nicklaus has this putt for his par and a rather sad round of 76. So a disastrous back 9 for Nicklaus, home in 39 strokes for a round of 76 and a total of 215, the same as Christy O'Connor. For Yancey, a 73 and a 3-round total of 211, 5 under par. And on the leaderboard, Tom Weiskopf and Johnny Miller, both 10 under par. And here they come down the 18th fairway. It'll be Johnny Miller to play first, on the edge of the fairway on the left. And he doesn't look very pleased with that. Pushed out short and right of the green. Now Tom Weiskopf. And that's a much better looking stroke. Running right into the heart of the green. A good shot to finish with. And a good crowd too. Approximately 17,000 round this green, despite the rather miserable weather. Miller's third. Pitches it well up. And it's not a bad one, leaves him a putt of about 6 feet. Now Weiskopf putting for a birdie 3. It's a good one, only just short and a safe par 4. And now Johnny Miller with this crucial putt to stay level with Weiskopf and a share of the lead. And so Johnny Miller finishes rather sadly with a 69 for a total of 207. But if Miller does not win this championship tomorrow, that's the one many people will say lost him the title. 1 round to go. Barnes and Neil Coles for Britain in 4th place, but Tom Weiskopf the leader from Johnny Miller by a single stroke. And many people are beginning to wonder whether Bert Yancey, or indeed anyone, can stop tomorrow turning into a 2-horse race, rather like one of those fascinating old 2-men challenge matches. And by the way, what's the weather going to do? The contenders emerge from their hotel to find bright skies.
What a character. Not ready to make your great charge. 62's worth. Good weather, you could do it.
Johnny Miller. Tom Weiskopf.
How you doing this morning?
Jack Nicklaus, the men destined to create the day's dramas. Those 3 plus 1, Neil Coles, the quiet man of British golf. There's a hint early in the day that British golf may emerge with credit. Peter Butler finishes with a fine 69, which gives him a total of 286 and the prospect of £2,000 worth of prize money. People say the championship lies between 2 men. But already out on the course, others have different ideas. For one, Jack Nicklaus. The first, par 4 hole, Nicklaus, with the taste of yesterday's failure still sour in his mouth. Now facing this pitch shot of no more than 100 yards or so up to this first green. Thrown right in the air. But it doesn't quite stop quickly enough. But Nicklaus has the look of a man bent on perfection. His partner, Christy O'Connor, now aged 48 years of age, but determined to make one more bid for glory. This for a birdie. And there it is. Now Nicklaus, also for a birdie. What a great start for Jack. Now 2 under par going to the second hole. A similar second shot to the one he's just played at the first hole. Looks good. My word, it is good too. An absolute beauty. And I'm sure a lot of us are getting the feeling that we're watching a very different Jack Nicklaus today than the one we saw struggling yesterday. This for a birdie. Well, that's 2 holes played and 2 birdies scored. And away goes Jack, beginning to play this really pulverizing game that we know he can do so well. And, as you see, 3 under par. But behind him, Neil Coles. rather like Nicholas, hole by hole, he begins to cut Troon down to normal. Altogether, Coles is destined to score 5 birdies in the first 12 holes. That's one of them. Meanwhile, Nicholas goes on even more sensationally. Out in 32, then 6 under par for the round, 7 under for the tournament, coming to the 13th. Now here he is playing his second shot from light rough. Watching it rather anxiously.
No. Missed the right edge of the green. We got a collapse, so doesn't it? Well, it's not on. It can't possibly be on if it kicked it to the right.
So could this be the end of Jack's purple patch? This 13th hole is a par 4, and Nicholas is well off the green in 2. Strides along, that's where the ball pitch, says faithful Jimmy Dickinson, knocks the pitch mark down, and you can see how the ball's gone down the slope, leaving a tricky little pitch up to the plateau green, with the flag about 10 or 12 yards over the top. Looks good. Oh. Well, my word, what about that? The incredible Nicholas strikes again. Five holes to play. 8 under par. And behind him, Neil Coles has quietly picked up yet another birdie. But Nicholas comes down the 72nd hole, the final hole, and on the threshold of perhaps one of the greatest rounds of golf ever played in a British Open Championship. This putt for a 65. Yes, an astonishing 65. A total of 280. So Nicholas finishes in a blaze of glory. And so does Neil Coles, coming quietly down the centre of the fairway into the great arena with this putt for a 66. A superb round of 66 and a 4-round total of 279 for Neil Coles. But now he can only wait, because that score must surely put him high in the money list. But it all depends on what the others do coming up behind. The anticipated challenge from Brian Barnes and Bert Yancey doesn't quite come off. Barnes ultimately shoots a 76 and Yancey 70. Yancey putting at the 13th. When you hear the cheers behind you, said Yancey, you know they're for someone else. They were. The leaders have been waging their 2-man war. This, the second hole, and Tom Weiskopf putting for a par 4. Yes, just a little simple tap-in, so Miller has to hole his to stay only 1 shot behind. Well, I'm sure he can hardly believe it. It seemed to catch right into the centre of the hole, but didn't drop. So after 2 holes, Weiskopf moves 2 strokes ahead. And now the 3rd hole. And it's becoming more and more a test of character as much as technique, fought hole by hole with scarcely a word between them. That's a good-looking swing from Weiskopf here at the 3rd, and a good result. The mental pressure is now mounting on Miller, as it has since that psychological miss yesterday on the 54th green. Now Johnny Miller's second shot to the third. Can he match that one of Weiskopf's? Really hits it hard, throws it right in the air. Pitches and stops very quickly. A good shot, right over the top of the flag. But it's Weiskopf to putt first. This for a birdie. Tricky one across the slope. But it's in. Oh, what relief for the leader. An 11 under par. Now this has put the pressure right back on Johnny Miller. Already 2 strokes behind, and knowing if he doesn't hole this, 3. Oh, again, so near, but it doesn't drop. So Weiskopf picks up yet another stroke after 3 holes in the final round. And the weather which has tormented this championship returns. Miller has one psychological advantage. He has won a major championship. Weiskopf hasn't. But now this is the 4th hole, a par 5, and Weiskopf short of the green in 2. A good-looking pitch. Oh, beautifully played. Beautifully played, some 4.5 feet from the hole. Now from the side of the green, Johnny Miller playing his 3rd. Tricky shot. Oh, but plays it well. 2 very fine pick shots there from Miller and Weiskopf. It's just Miller to putt first. Yes, and that's his first birdie of the day. And can Weiskopf follow him in? No, he can't, and that's the first chink we've seen in Weiskopf's armour today. So just 2 shots in it now, and that's the way they remain as they come to the par 5, 6th hole. It's absolutely pouring down now, but Weiskopf's already on the green in 3. Miller to play. Pitch of some 110, 120 yards. And a good one, much closer than Weiskopf's. Study of concentration. Long putt for a birdie here at the 6th. Oh, isn't that an absolute killer blow? Follow that. What terrible pressure now back on Miller. No, it won't go in. So 3 shots behind again, almost as soon as he'd got one back. And still 3 in it at the par 5, 11th. Weiskopf to play. Good-looking shot. Will it make the green? Bouncing forward and just gets on the front, the very front of the green. Now Miller's second shot at this very dangerous 11th hole. Railway lines skirting all down the right-hand side, and he must do something now, for the holes are beginning to run out. A fine shot onto the green, but the net result is 2 birdies and no strokes change hands. And they remain, as you see from the scoreboard, Miller 10 under, Weiskopf 13 under. But suddenly there is a change at the 13th. Weiskopf pushed his second shot wide of the green and is in all sorts of trouble. Miller, nicely on the green in 2, looks certain to get his par 4. Now, can Weiskopf play as good a shot as we saw Nicklaus do from an easier position a few moments ago? That perhaps would be asking too much, but can he get down in 2? No, he can't, and Miller closes the gap, and everyone waits to see if Weiskopf will crack. And there's Weiskopf's answer. 2 superb iron shots at the next 2 holes. This is the 15th. Miller putting to keep the gap down to only 2 strokes. And again, it's 3 strokes, and suddenly it's too late. They come to the final 72nd hole. And what a wonderful arena it is. We indeed in British golf are fortunate to have so many great finishing holes, and Troon is not the least of them. Miller having pushed his second shot into the greenside bunker, now Weiskopf, with the championship in his grasp. Well, it's good enough. You can just look at those crowds engulfing this green. And on the right, the beautiful Mrs. Weiskopf. From the bunker, Johnny Miller. A long bunker shot, a difficult one. Oh, beautifully played, and a final reminder of the tremendous skill and potential of this young man, John Miller. Now, Weiskopf. Can he get down in 2? And a total of 276. The all-time record set by Arnold Palmer in 1962. A very good effort from such long range, and so the answer will probably be yes. Now Johnny Miller putting for a round of 72 and a total of 279. Miller and Coles tying then for second place on 279. Now Weiskopf with this putt of about 30 inches for the record. And what a great grandstand finish to this championship for Weiskopf. Fine score, fine man. Tom Weiskopf. He led in every round, something no man has done since Henry Cotton. The 102nd British Open Championship is all over bar the speeches. And as usual, the Open has been a model of organisation which is respected the world over. For Charles Lorry, on Weiskopf's left, the last of his 4 historic Opens as chairman of the R&A Championship Committee. For Bert Yancey, 5th place, and another wait to see whether he can win a major title. For Jack Nicklaus, 4th place, and what might have been. For Johnny Miller, a tremendous future, and a cheque for £3,625. For Neil Coles, suddenly the limelight, coming from behind to tie for second place.
And the champion golfer for the year, with a score of 276, winner of the gold medal, prize money of £5,500, Tom Weiskopf, of the United States. Wow. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Fine show.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Believe me, to win my first major championship in the country where golf started is something that you can't explain. It's the most inspirational place I've ever played golf. I'm very proud to be your champion. Thank you.
The 102nd British Open Championship is over. It is the year of Tom Weiskopf.